Hey guys, welcome to Monkey's World. This is wrestling news. Okay. Um, First off, Kevin Sullivan, the Taskmaster, um, is hospitalized in a Florida ICU. He had some sort of accident at a signing there, or while he was there for a signing. I'm not clear on which it actually is. There is a GoFundMe set up by his daughter Nicole, because his insurance is just about exhausted. Excuse me. And because a lot of people were asking, well, didn't he make a ton of money? Probably a decent amount. Not as much as guys today are making because he worked in a different time. And I'm sure he has some savings. That being said, I do know that he's an older person. He probably has Medicare, which will only pay for a certain number of days in a rehab facility if he gets out of the hospital. They also want to transfer him back to Boston, which insurance isn't going to pay for, and is very expensive. Because yes, he is legitimately from Boston. His daughter lives in Concord, and she wants him back here. And who can blame her? The man has days when he's conscious, days when he's not. He's not doing well. And I just wanted to mention, he's been in the hospital since May 12th. So whatever insurance he has, which he probably has an extra insurance like on top of Medicare because he could afford to pay for that. But insurance have caps. Health insurance have caps. $1 million usually. Now, fortunately for me, myself doesn't have caps because I already went way over that $1 million just in chemo. So, but to get someone on Medicaid, which is different than Medicare, is not an easy thing to do and not a quick process. And if he has any money in the bank, it won't happen. If he has some kind of retirement savings, that's not going to happen. So why not help him out? If you look at the list of donors, it shows what a family wrestling truly is. I'm going to name a few donors here. I want to start out with Tony Khan, president and owner of AEW. He donated a whopping $10,000. He doesn't even know Kevin. He's just been a wrestling fan his whole life. And him and, his dad had money and he had money. And he said, Dad, let's do this. Let's help out Cody and the boys and we're going to do this. And Tony already owned the Jacksonville Jaguars himself. So him and his dad went in and funded AEW. So, but that's just amazing. I mean, he put his money where his mouth is. He loves the sport. He loves the people in it. And he just put his money where his mouth is. Thank you, Tony. DDP, all these ones gave $1,000 or more. So, except the bottom one, which is understandable. DDP, Chris Jericho, Cody Rhodes, Jim and Stacy Cornette, Scott D'Amore, Gary Capetta, and Barbara Goodish. If you're not familiar with some of those names, let me clue you in. Scott D'Amore was a manager, a great booker for TNA, just loves the business, and it really has a mind for it, according to all the guys that I respect, like AJ and CD and those guys, Frankie. Everybody knows who Jim Cornette is. legendary managers should be in the Hall of Fame. Gary Capetta was a ring announcer for both the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, yes, way back then, and later for WCW. I've actually talked to Gary. He's a sweetheart. And I've seen him live, and we talked about that in email correspondence that we had, that I wish I still had. And Barbara Goodish. If you remember, we talked about the Dark Side of the Ring, about Bruiser Brody, or Frank Goodish. Well, Barbara's his widow, and she actually gave $100, which is, it's amazing. She's still part of the wrestling family, and I think that's wonderful. So please pray for Kevin. That is his real name. In case you don't know about him, let me give you a quick overview here. Kevin went to BC, Boston College, on a wrestling scholarship. He was a letterman in wrestling. I believe he won championships at the college level. And he came in with Killer Khan, I believe, and to professional wrestling after he got out of college. I'm not sure what his degree was in. I think it was in business. He's very smart. And he got married. He had 2 children. He had a son and a daughter. The marriage broke up. He got custody of the children, which says a lot, especially in that time period, you know, with his travel and the time period and him being male. To have gotten custody of the children says so much. Not only about his integrity as a person, but, and yes, I realized, well, when I say I realized he had money, he didn't really, because he was working for the Indies. So it was a per match basis. It wasn't a huge amount, you know. Even when he was working for Crockett, he really wasn't getting a huge amount, and I doubt that Graham was paying him a huge amount, even though he was his top heel. He did this thing where he's supposed to be the Satan worshiper. He's not, of course. A lot of people will say, yes, he is. No, separate the gimmick, folks. It's a gimmick. And he'll tell you that. He says, what thing could be more opposite and could get more the ire of the fans than being like a wizard and acting like, even if it's never said, it was never actually said, that you were a Satan worshiper or something. That's totally the opposite of a babyface. And that's what he was going for with the gimmick. He's actually very intelligent. He's humble. He became head booker of WCW after his retirement. He actually, in spite of everything that happened, because he ended up meeting woman, Nancy, at a photo shoot in Florida Championship Wrestling, and she was a model, and they asked her to do the shoot, and I don't know, they just hit it off, I guess. She divorced her husband, he was already divorced, and they got together. I guess Ben and Nicole weren't big fans of her. I don't know, particularly Ben, and that caused, when she left him for Benoit, that caused a problem between him and Ben that they brought into the storyline, which they never should have. But, so yeah, he, then when they were killed, everybody said, a lot of people said he had something to do with it. Why bother after all those years, you know? say in interviews, she was happy. She had the child she wanted that he wasn't going to give her because he was too old. You know, the time they got together, his kids were like teenagers, and she was much younger, and she wanted kids, and he couldn't give that to her. He knew that. He even wrote the affair into the storyline. If it bothered him that much, he wouldn't have. I'm sure he was hurt in a way, but I'm sure he also knew she outgrew him. You know, in a sense, not in an intellectual sense, just in the sense that she hadn't really finished growing and maturing when she met him. She was very young. She had been married for a short time to, I think it was her high school sweetheart, and was still very young. And they were together a long time. And it was my understanding that in real life, when this affair happened, that they were actually in real life separated. They weren't even together when this affair started. That's why I use quotes. Because they were actually separated. There was a lot of crap going on between the two of them, rumors of abuse, all sorts of things. Now, there were said to be pictures of her in a safety deposit box showing signs of abuse, bruises and stuff. Well, a couple of things there. First, you worked in the wrestling industry. You probably always had bruises because you were a pretty physical girl. And second, there was a very credible source that stated that she was with another wrestler. She was already married to Sullivan. She was with another wrestler. And that wrestler beat the crap out of her in his room that night. She was running around the hotel screaming. It's from a very credible source, and it's in writing. So, well, I can tell you, Gary Capetta wrote it in his book Body Slams. Read the book. It was quite an interesting story, and I've heard the story other places as well. Anyway, I'll keep you updated on Kevin Sullivan the best that I can. Rhea Ripley is back, baby. I'm excited. I like Mammy. I don't know, I've liked her from day one. She's something about her. Also, because I saw it, she was one of the girls that did the no makeup interview, sort of a mini documentary. And just the way that she spoke and the way that I like her. She's a good person, outside of the character. She's a good person, and she's a tremendous wrestler. So, in other Judgment Day news, Damian Priest has said he will give Seth another shot at the title after what happened at Money in the Bank. Apparently, Seth had him pinned, and the referee refused to count 3. I was, again, in the tub, so I didn't know that, and I didn't hear Michael Cole mention it, because I was listening to the commentary. As much as I despise the commentary, a lot of times I'll mute the commentary and listen to music. Much prefer to do that. I personally think, let me know what you think, that there's going to be a split in Judgment Day. Because Damian Priest is showing morals. He's really taken up a leadership position without even attempting to. Those are always the best leaders, the ones that just sort of fall into the position. And Finn Balor is kind of backed up and worked on his team with JD McDonough and really has let him take the lead. And in the meantime, Dominic is off on his own, flirting with Liv Morgan, who was the one that took his mammy out. So mammy comes back, finds this, storyline, and so yeah, that's gonna be a fight. So I have a feeling that Mammy's gonna be feuding with Liv and Dom. And I think that was Liv's whole plan, storyline-wise. Okay. I may have touched on this one briefly, but Sika the Wild Samoan passed away. Now, the thing I want to touch on is people have been posting still images and short videos of Roman Reigns, aka Lady Joe and Hawaii, doing his eulogy for his father. I'm sorry. Out of bounds. When he is Joe, it is out of bounds. That wasn't Roman Reigns. That was Joe and Hawaii. And you've got no business posting that or filming it without permission, as far as I'm concerned, or taking pictures of it. I'm sorry. It's wrong on so many levels. Let me know your opinion, but that's my opinion. And I want to ask you a question. What do you think of Solo Sikoa as the tribal chief, the head of the Dale, as it were? I don't know how to feel about that. He seems the most, well, I can't say that. One of his cousins is a major rookie, in my opinion. The other one has been Bullet Club. He's been pretty well seasoned in Japan. Not sure why they turned AJ heel again, but I think that maybe turning him back babyface to have him feud with the Bloodline. And I know he started something with them and it never got finished. Because obviously Tonga was under his leadership in the Bullet Club, so they could do a thing where Tonga calls him out and says, "You're not my leader anymore. This is my, whatever. This is my leader." What is the thing I call it? What do they call it in the Bloodline? You will acknowledge. That's the word. I acknowledge him. I don't acknowledge you. That sort of a thing. And maybe make some kind of a feud out of it. And then if Sikoa takes the title at some point, maybe AJ goes after that. You know what I mean? Just a thought. I always have storyline thoughts. I think I have a pretty good mind for the business. I've only been watching it my entire life. So, thank you for joining me. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm going to go ahead and film the kid missing video. I'm not sure that I have it filmed. I might have it filmed. I'll go ahead and get that up while I'm waiting for my Walmart order. Excuse me. Tomatonga. I couldn't think of it. You know what? This is no longer holding a charge. So, it's a good thing I have another one. Anyway, I will do that off camera. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And remember to please subscribe to both channels. Trying to get to 200 here and 500 there. 500 store. Bye, guys.